Hello and welcome. It is Wednesday, February 27th, and Ray and I are live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We have some great soldiers' toys and banks to talk about today, and we are beyond excited. And we have two auctions. We have Attention to Detail, Find Toy Soldiers, that starts this Friday, March 1st at 2 p.m. and continues Saturday, March 2nd at 10 a.m. Eastern. If you didn't receive our catalog, there's our cover photo in the upper right corner there. And we also have Cyber Toy Auctions, Terrific Toys and Treasures, Sunday, March 3rd at 10 a.m. Eastern. And yeah, we have so many exciting things this weekend.
3 days of fantastic auctions. I'm really looking forward to it.
So many auctions. The collection of toy soldiers that we have starting March 1st at 2 p.m. is actually out of Edmonton, Canada. And we've been working on this collection for 10 years. It took an entire team to get this up on the auction block.
It really did. All of us contributed. Norman was the spearhead, Scott Moreland, Bob Phillips, Bree, myself, a lot of talking and negotiating, but we finally got the collection. I think you'll agree it's just a fabulous collection. It's going to be really nice and well received. This is the first half. The second half of it will actually be sold in April. So it's mainly on day one. It's mainly the Britons, but there are some other manufacturers in it. So we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, so mainly Britons, but also on the second day we have Crescent, Ducal, Mignot, Aero Art. We have some Elastilin, King and Country, Lucat, and some Dave Fontaines, which are very exciting. So we can't wait to tell you all about it. And backtracking to Cyber, we have Mechanical and Steel Banks, some advertising, some tin wind-up toys, some Layman, and some celluloid and penny toys. Yep. So we have so much to show you. If you have any questions throughout the broadcast, please don't hesitate to comment below, or you can search for all three catalogs on liveauctioneers.com, search for Old Toy Soldier Auctions or Cyber Toy Auctions. And are you ready, Ray?
I'm ready. Let's get to it.
Third time's the charm. Let's do this. All right, lot 1076. We have lot Britons, set 318, the Royal Horse Artillery at the halt. We have 8 artillerymen and mounted figure there, an original box, and it's just a gorgeous set.
Yeah, this is the rarest of the Royal Horse Artillery. Set number 39 is sort of what put Britons on the map. This is set 318. 39, they're at the gallop. Here they're at the halt. So if you look, the horses are standing still. These are in the butterscotch uniforms, which are very rare and very pretty. They look like butterscotch. That's why we call them that. Box is beautiful. It's one of the rarest sets that you can find out there.
Yes, very rare set, lot 1076, highly sought after. Next we have lot 1182, excuse me. This is Britain set 1332, the Girl Guides with Guider. If you look closely, you can see that the Guider in the middle is a little bit bigger than the rest of the Girl Guides. This comes with its original box, and the box has that beautiful hunter green label. What I felt was very interesting about this set is the Girl Guides were the British version of the American Girl Scouts.
Were you a Girl Scout?
I was not. I was an Indian princess, though.
Oh, well,
I know.
Close.
I know. Close enough, right?
Those are like pre-Girl Scouts, right?
We'll consider it that. Yes, okay. Yes. So next we have lot 1276, and this is Britain set 181. It's the large Boy Scout display. It is 42 pieces in total, as you can see. It is an absolutely exquisite set. My favorite figure in the set is the Boy Scout climbing the tree there. I also love the artwork on the box, and I just think it's a unique set to be all intact.
Yeah, it's one of the more dynamic and interesting of all the Boy Scout sets. Britain's didn't produce a whole lot of them. They produced pre-war Boy Scouts marching with staffs, and then they made the signalers mainly post-war in a box. There were a couple display sets pre-war that are very, very rare, and they did make 181 pre-war, but I've only had that one time. The post-war set's rare too. This is maybe the 10th or 12th time I've had this set. But it really demonstrates all the figures that Britain's made in the Boy Scout line. Has the Boy Scout with the Trek cart, one of the most desirable pieces. The Boy Scout in the tree. Really nice. 2 trays. in the box, presents very well.
It really does. And it was made, as Ray said, post-war from about 1954 to 1959. So if you're searching for that in the catalog, once again, it is lot 1276. Next, we have lot 1148, and this is a really unique set. It was made by a manufacturer called Fry. It is set number 4. It is the British Expeditionary Force Infantry, and this is a set in particular that, as long as I've been working with Ray, I haven't seen.
Well, Fry, everyone, when you think of like lead toy soldiers, they think of Britons. But Britons had competition back in the beginning, and Fry was one of those competitors. So they wanted to be the Britons. They produced a very nice figure, beautiful graphics on the box, but they never really could compete with Britons, and they only lasted for a relatively short period of time.
Yes. Lots 1084 and 1086. These are made by a company called Pfeiffer. Their composition, the lot up top stands out to me in particular because the kind of rock formation in the back there is made out of paper mache, and I think both of them are great sets. And of course, you know, the well-known Buffalo Bill set on the bottom with Attack on the Indians. You know.
Well, yeah, Pfeiffer was, very sought-after manufacturer. They were Viennese out of Vienna, Austria. They produced very early, late 1800s until the early 1900s, and then they were bought by Hauser. So they essentially, a lot of people sort of consider them a precursor to Elastilin. Hauser then sort of became Elastilin figures. A lot of the Elastilin figures are very similar to the Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer tend to be a little bit more full-bodied in the way they were sculpted and more finely detailed, an earlier version. So they are some of the most prized of all composition figures.
Yes, and I think, rightfully so.
Yeah.
The top one, it has a nice size to it. It's 18 inches long, so, it's a nice size set. And next we have lot 1069. This is made by a gentleman by the name of Joe Shimmick. And this represents the Battle of Port Arthur. It is 18 pieces in total. It was the Russian-Japanese War from 1904 to 1905, and it's just a beautiful set. He, made reproduction sets, and I really feel like he filled in the gaps of some sets that just didn't exist in the soldier world.
Yeah, well, he would sort of take his line was called Postdommer sind Soldaten. And he would sort of take influence from all the German manufacturers, Heidi, Spincook, Kraus, and Norris, and sort of would create things that no one else did. This is the Japanese-Russo War, did some very dramatic sort of boats being exploded and bombs going off. Really some nice additions if you have any sort of small-scale naval type display.
Yes, and the colors just pop off the screen. I mean, you can see the quality of these sets that he did, and like I said, they are some of my favorites. So we have his sets represented in this sale. Next, we have lot 252, and this was made by famous modeler Desfontaine, and it's just a beautiful figure.
Yeah, well, we're lucky enough on day 2. This was a collection off of Long Island from a very well-known collector who wants to remain anonymous. He passed away. We're dealing with his son, but most of these figures were bought from Peter Greenhill. I was talking to Peter, and he said that he actually had to pay 6,000 francs for this figure in 1984. And I believe it was about 6 to 1 at the time. So it's about $1,000 in the early 80s for this figure.
Wow.
Josiane Desfontaine, one of the ultimate masters of early model figures. She produced mainly from about 1955 to about 1977. She is by far and away, we've had more interest in these figures than anything else in the catalog by far. The phones are packed, the absentee bids are packed, people are online. It's going to be very interesting to see what these figures do.
It is, and we haven't had four figures at auction, so that we can recall.
Yeah.
Very, very rare figures, and we can't wait to see how they do.
One of the interesting things about these figures is that she is probably the most sought after and most valuable manufacturer of early connoisseur figures, being a woman. And I read a statistic a little while ago that, in all the museums throughout the world, only about 5% of the art that are in those museums was created by female artists.
That's shocking to me.
I find it very shocking, and I also find it shocking in a male-dominated field where basically there are very few women that would create toy soldiers, that she is the most sought after of them all. So there's the eye.
That's to her for sure. So next we have lot 244, and we also have some Courtney Greenhill figures in this sale. They were recognized by their positions in particular. So this is H13A, and I mean, there really aren't words that describe how detailed and exquisite this figure is in particular. Look at the helm on the, on the top of that helmet, and just everything.
Well, okay, so these are Courtney Greenhills. Richard Courtney is the master of all sculptors of heraldic knights. He then sold his molds to Ping, and then Ping sold them to Peter Greenhill. Peter Greenhill really loved this figure. This is H13A, so much so he put it on the front cover of his book.
Yes.
Great book on heraldic miniature knights, sort of the best book when you're referring to Courtney's. But this is a very famous figure. The Courtney figure is also referred to as the rocking horse figure. There are actually only 2 of those known. Very, very rare, the most desirable of all the Courtney figures. Only one that's sort of in that limited of a quantity. And, then Peter Greenhill recreated these, just an exquisite detail.
It really is. So that one is lot 244. Next we have lot 212, which is a Richard Courtney, and this is position Z7. And as you can see, it's extremely rare position. I mean, he's balancing on just a couple fingers there, and it's just a great figure.
Courtney, again, everything is, he had a sketchbook and he would give everything a number. This is the Z series, which is the most sought after and tends to be the rarest of all the figures. This is a very rare pose and heraldry, so this is a very good figure. It's going to do very well.
And Ray, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like some of the older figures, they have the darker base.
Well, yeah, good question. So with Courtney's, if they have a black base, they were painted pre-World War II. And then after the war, he started doing green bases. And in general, it's not a strict rule, but generally the darker the green, the closer to World War II. So as we progressed into the 50s and late 50s, the bases got lighter and lighter green. And then like Peter Greenhill, starting in the 80s, his bases are sort of almost a neon green.
Right. And
you can sort of date them just by the color of the green on the base.
And for the Richard Courtney's, did he sign most of his figures?
He signed the vast majority of them. You will find figures that aren't signed, or maybe aren't signed with his name in particular, but will have the pose and the heraldry. But generally, I would say 90 to 95% of his figures are signed.
And how about the Courtney Greenhills?
Peter Greenhill, they well documented all his figures. He gave them specific numbers. There's a lot of information on the base of those figures. Essentially, 99.5% of those are signed.
And then the Desfontaines.
Desfontaine, she signed most of her figures. Not all, but again, a large percentage. They are usually signed if you're looking at the figure on the lower right or left side, usually not behind and never in front. And it's a very fine signature right at the very base. And it'll usually just sort of be like, you'll just say J with Desfontaine. But you almost have to look with a loop. Very, very fine lettering on it. So again, she signed the vast majority of her figures.
And there's something about these individual figures that really stand out to me. I mean, they're more like works of art than anything else.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, look at it. I mean, that's gorgeous.
It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. So very excited about all of those. And next we're moving on to lot 460. This is Lucat Napoleonic Marshals, and Napoleon is of course included in this lot, along with some other famous marshals, but we have a nice assortment of Lucat in the sale as well. And as we stated earlier, we just have many manufacturers that are represented.
Yeah, a lot of fine, high quality figures. So we have a little selection of Lucat. And then, we have a lot of the Russian figures, which are coming up here.
So here we have lot 253. It's an Arrow Art Greek war elephant. And elephants are very popular in our auctions, but we're very excited for these. We feel like, these in particular, we have some St. Petersburg lots, and we feel like they're going to do very well.
Yeah, I think so. These figures, right after the Soviet Union fell apart, a lot of the Westerner sort of businessmen went over, and they sort of, the rumor is they tried to hire a lot of the artisans that were out of work. They used to work for the Soviet Union. Now people that worked for the Hermitage didn't have a job. So they employed them making these figures, and they are exquisitely detailed, beautiful figures. Sort of back in the late 90s when you go to a show, people would be 5-6 deep trying to get to the tables to buy the figures. They were very expensive. This figure is probably close to $2,000 when it was sold. So it's going to be interesting because we have a fair number in this sale, and then we just took in another big collection that has quite a few figures. It's going to be interesting to see where that market really ends up now, because they're primary buyers, and now a lot of them, it's 20 years, so it's time for them to sell. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens to this market. But I do think, especially the elephants are going to do very well. Like you said, everyone likes those war elephants.
I agree. It's a beautiful figure. Also, speaking of elephants, we have, this is lot 545. This was manufactured by a company called Beau Geste, and this has a carriage with a tri-domed top. And if you look closely on the second level there, you'll also see the leopard skin rug, which I felt like was a great addition to this.
I mean, it's very nice. Beau Geste is an Argentine company that produced out of Buenos Aires. And very, very high quality figure. They did a lot of the Delhi Durbar figures, or that you could work with the Delhi Durbar. What's good about these, or why I think they're going to do well, is a lot of the U.S. collectors, especially, they haven't been exposed to a lot of these figures. They haven't had a chance to buy them. Generally, you either had to mail order them out of Argentina, which a lot of people were reluctant, or they would sell at the Chicago show. But if you didn't do either of those, you've probably never seen or heard of these figures. Very nice. I think you'll like them.
I agree. And believe it or not, those were all the soldiers we had to show.
Those are our soldiers, but it's time to move on to toys, cyber toys.
All right, we're moving on to toys. So for cyber toy auction, it starts this Sunday, March 3rd. We're going to start with lot 268, and this is the Initiating First Degree Mechanical Bank. It is the best bank in the sale.
Yeah, it's really probably the best bank that Cyber has had for sale is Cyber number 9.
Can you
Very
believe
impressive. We've had 9 auctions with Cyber toys, and this is a very rare bank in very, very nice condition. So really? A lot of great action. The coin sort of goes in the boy's hands here. When you press the lever, the goat flips up, pushes him into the frog, and deposits the coin. But great bank, made out of Connecticut. Rare. It's a rare bank.
Yes. At about 1880, and then there's also another version of this bank.
Well, yeah, this is called Initiating First Degree. They did make something called the Initiating Second Degree, which is goat, frog, and old man. And there you have an old man on top of the goat. It's actually sort of on top of this goat here, and then they both get pushed into the frog. It's a smaller bank. It's only maybe about 8-9 inches long, whereas this is almost a foot.
Right. So, but it's a fantastic example of this bank. So lot 268, and next we're moving on to lot 324. This is a large bank train station, circa about 1915. It is 26 inches long. So
it's mammoth. It's a big station.
It's very big.
And just give you there's something for everyone in these cyber sales. So if you're a train collector, wind-up collector, bank collector, that's what you try to do with the cyber sales. Sort of provide something for everyone at basically every price point. And
I agree.
We'll have lots that sell for $20 in the sale, so anyone can participate.
I agree. And, I mean, this one, it's just a gorgeous station. So if you're looking for one, that is lot 324. Next, we have lot 541, and we have, this is Tut Tut in particular, but we have a great selection of laymen in this sale, which were all made out of Germany. And
yeah, a lot of nice wind-up toys. So again, we're just going to show you a lot of sort of wind-up toys in this sale. Nice diversity, again, sort of almost every price point. So it's going to be good for everyone.
Definitely. Lot 223. We're very excited about this. So this is the Dennis Mechanical Bank, and we have new GIFs to offer.
She's very excited. She's been working on these GIFs for months now.
So with the assistance of Julian, we have these GIFs to offer. And as you can see here, the dentist is pulling the tooth out of the patient's mouth here. And, you know, this is a rare bank. It was made by J&E Stevens about 1880. And, you know, it's just another example of it's a great bank.
Well, yeah, it's high action bank. This bank looks fantastic. There's a little bit of touch up and
In painting on the faces. That's why it looks so colorful, but only maybe 15%. We listed it as not working, but again, Julian sort of took a look at it, and the spring was just sort of caught up. So as you can see, it's working very nicely. It's a great opportunity to buy a bank. It sort of looks like a $12,000 to $15,000 bank and put it on your shelf. All original as far as the mechanics and the metal.
Yes, great bank. And next we have lot 552, which is this Dissler wind-up, which was made out of Germany. And you can see the man catches the ball in his mouth and throws it back into his hat. But, I mean, these toys are so fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun little novelty toys in the sale.
Next we have lot 416. And this one is a little seal with an umbrella. As you can see, it comes with his original box there. It's lot 416.
He's trying to shield himself from the sun.
I know.
He doesn't want to burn his nose.
Look at that. He's all original. I mean,
Yeah.
once again, I mean, the paint is, it's immaculate. It's great.
Yep, very nice toy.
Lot 583, and this gets me in that, you know, the Rocky mode. I'm ready to climb the steps.
Go.
I'm climbing the steps. This is a boxer with speed bag, and it is 7.5 inches tall, and it was made in France. And, you know, just another wind-up toy, but it's great.
Yeah, very nice.
Great action. Next we have this little lot with a monkey and two Santas. And this one, all three of these are celluloid Japanese toys.
Celluloid's an early type of plastic. Yeah, nice, neat wind up, yeah, great action. Make great gifts. I mean, these are very inexpensive toys. They're almost comparable to a toy that you would buy today at the store. So if you know anyone that likes Santa Clauses or monkeys with guitars, here's your opportunity.
That's for sure. So now we have another lot of 3-tin wind-up toys. We have the mechanical cowboy there for you demonstrating on the right-hand side, and a bug and a champion jockey. But my favorite thing about this lot in particular are just the boxes. I think that the graphics speak for themselves.
Yeah, really nice artwork. Just sit and go.
Lot 363, we have this ostrich mechanical toy.
It looks like Big Bird.
I know, he really
Nosing
does.
along.
How awesome is he? Once again, fantastic action, beautiful toy, made out of Japan. And he also comes with these other two lots, the lawn mowing bear and the Arab on camel.
Very interesting theme. How do those all relate? I don't know.
I'm not quite sure, but if you're interested in that, that is lot 363. Next we have 498, and we have this, I mean, we have a fan favorite here. This is Pinocchio. I mean, how can you not like Pinocchio? With Pinocchio and Charlie McCarthy, these are both wind-up toys.
That's great. I love it. Made by Marks. You know, they're Wanderer toys, but it's like listening to them to go.
He's great. And next we have a grouping of lots. These are lots 194 to 201, and it's a manufacturer that we usually do not sell typically, but these are still banks. They were made by a company called Quinco, and there's one that might speak to me a little bit more.
Well, they all look
the
like
others.
college mascots. Which one is yours?
Maybe the Penn State Nittany Lion in the left-hand corner there.
Nittany Lion. I don't see a CU Buffalo there.
There's no buffalo, but I mean, come on, you got to be a Nittany Lion fan at heart.
Well, I agree. I mean, great. You know, again, great gifts.
anyone that went to one of these schools, anyone that might want to go to one of these schools, very inexpensive and just, really, nice 1960s sort of graphic art.
They are. I mean, I just think they're great.
I agree.
You're not going to believe it, but with that,
That's it.
That's it.
It goes quick.
That's all we had to show today. For the soldiers, attention to detail begins this Friday, March 1st, and Saturday. You can search on liveauctioneers.com for Old Toy Soldier auctions. Ray and I will be in the office all day tomorrow. We're accepting bids via phone or email or fax, etc., as well as Cyber Toys. Begins this Sunday, the 3rd. Also, full catalog is on liveauctioneers.com. Search for Cyber Toy Auctions, and we are accepting bids for that as well. We have a couple announcements, and I'm going to jump back to here so you can see us for a couple seconds, but the next Adventures with Ray and Bree is going to be coming on YouTube very shortly. It is, I think, the best Adventures episode we've filmed thus far.
Yeah, it was terrific. We had a good time in Louisville, didn't we?
We really did. I mean, we did an overall, or, just a really great depiction of the entire museum at the Fraser History Center, and look out for that video. And next, our latest Old Toy Soldier magazine is out. It is on shelves and online. You can go to oldtoysoldier.com. Thank you, Norman Joplin, for continuing to be a huge help with publishing the magazine. And
terrific job on this last magazine, Norman. Everyone really seemed to like it.
And we have a specific article with Bill O'Brien, featuring Bill O'Brien, that you should all check out for that. And the next RSL auction will be March 23rd and 24th. And I don't know if we mentioned earlier, but it has the Elliot and Liz Harold Still Bank toy and folk art collection. And in the cyber auction this Sunday, we have about 100 lots from their collection in the sale, but the remainder will be in RSL on March 23rd and 24th. And then the next Old Toy Soldier auction will be April 5th, 6th, and 7th. So look out for that. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. We hope everybody has as much fun as we do this weekend with the auctions. And yeah, it's going to be so much fun.
Yep. Thanks for watching, everyone. Enjoy the toys and fiddle on.
Thank you.